Hiya, let the views go up. Just got to try and get out the wind. It's incredibly windy up on the roof today. Very, very windy. Hello Rita, hello Paula. Christine says, his bully boss said he'll be thrown to the wolves. That's right, we are the wolves, we are the wolves, we are the wolves. Hello Jeanette. Hello Melissa. Melissa, thank you for your lovely kind gift. Thank you so much, Melissa. Alright, Reet. Hello Sonia. I'm gonna go into the wind, so it's gonna get alright, Teresa. Just gonna show you London. Let's have a look at London. London is windy but glorious. Glorious, glorious London. Right, so behind me is the East End. Having a massive mug of tea today, biggest mug in the world. I just spilt it down myself. What a mug. Hello Jono. Right, so we've got behind us the West End. Evelina, dzień dobry. Jankshimash. And Skleb is bread in Polish, so she taught me that the other day. Just over this way we got Kilburn, and there's a fire over in West Hampstead. West Hampstead's on fire. Hello Nancy. Hampstead's boring as usual. I don't tend to put the camera on Hampstead because it's just dull. So I'll just let it go up a couple more. Let's get to 200, and then I'll do a recap on the week, what's happened this week. And it's just been a very, very busy week, really, really busy. So we're Dylan's referring to a mug. So 3 more views, and yes, that's it. Denise Moore, you are our 200 viewer. Will allow you to go shopping for a minute and fill your trolley up. Hello Andrea. Right, so what's happened this week? Well, it's been a bit of a blur this week because anyway, I've been in Yorkshire. I met with Geoffrey Dickens' granddaughter Louise Dickens. Hi Janice, and what a lovely woman she is. She wants justice like her grandfather wanted. He was very, very anti-Satanism. And so I met with Louise and Vicky Ash. We've had someone else come forward regarding SRA. I've had a victim of SRA from Germany contact me today, suffering from DID, the multiple personality disorder as it were. And really what I want to discuss today is the prevalence of this. I just finished watching for the second time now Red Riding, and someone did find it for me, and it's been removed. Red Riding. I meant to bring up some paperwork, but I've forgotten. I tend to forget quite a bit lately because I want to say thank you to everyone who has written back and sent money, donations, paid for badges, but also sent cards, and thank you so much for my lovely microphone that came today. Thank you. That was such a beautiful thing to do. I've got a lovely Rode microphone which is going to really sort of come through the post. That was a lovely gift. So I want to say thank you to all the supporters, all those that have been in contact with me and then in contact with Christine and Rita regarding wanting to help. I can't thank you enough. I need to apologise if I don't get back to people because I don't even know what day of the week it is. It's gone mad. Jessica Khan is watching. Hello Lou, we just meant talking about you at Lou actually. And it's just gone absolutely crazy now. I want to say a few things. There was this guy, I forget his name now, and he was stitched up for can remember the name of the little girl. The little girl in the north of England. It's on the video with Lou and Vicky. And he's Polish. What's his name now? His mum always campaigned for him. Again, you won't find Red Riding. I'll try and post a link. They've removed it because it was so near the truth. It was based on fact, and it's all to do with Satanism, police cover-ups, businesses, and it ties in exactly with what Janetta said, exactly. No wonder they pulled it down, because it was giving the game away. Now, this Polish guy, was his name Stefan? Anyway, he went away for the murder. He was bullied into giving a confession. He had special needs, and there was a little girl that was killed in the north. She was killed by a paedophile who's linked to a satanic group. And it wasn't this Polish guy with special needs at all. He was. We saw the same with Jill Dando. Now, was Jill Dando on the precipice of speaking out about all the abuse and possible satanic sort of coven stuff that was going on within the BBC? Maybe she was. Again, they tried to stitch up a special needs guy. So can you imagine if your son had learning difficulties and ended up getting stitched up for a murder they didn't commit? Not just that, a sex crime murder. So there's someone who's totally confused, has no sort of dealings with the law. Next thing, they're being beat up, stitched up, banged up, and then you imagine what their life's like in prison, and they don't understand. And this is what these people were doing. This is what these police officers were doing. When we look, and when I've just had the paperwork back from my case, and I look at the lies, the barefaced lies that the Metropolitan Police have put because I'm fighting back. Stefan Kishko, that's it, Stefan Kishko, Google Kishko, Kishko, right? I'm taking the police on for cover-ups, really, the treatment of myself and the cover-ups regarding young children as young as 9 being pimped out. And there's one woman that she's just blatantly lied, and I can't go into it because it hasn't been before the courts yet, but this woman's lied, and shame on her. I can't believe it. And this is all it takes for good people to do nothing and evil will triumph. And we are seeing all these murders linked to stitch-ups. So it's got me thinking, you know, when children are going missing, and then months, weeks later, whatever, their emaciated bodies are found, and they're rotting, and there's not much chance of any DNA. And if we take, for instance, Sarah Payne, you know, Roy Whiting went away for the murder, and rightly so, but was Roy Whiting linked in to something else? Because she fits the profile of what they like, you know, blonde hair, blue eyes. And when we look at the Sohan murders as well, what was going on there? Was that satanically linked? And it's just got me thinking, and it's got me thinking, and especially when we hear the testimonies of Vicky Ash and Jeanette, and they're almost identical, and the people involved, the important people. And we listen to Darren's testimonies when he says they were posh, and then we look at the disclosures that came out from the IICSA, you know, with all people like Sir Peter Heyman, Leon Britton, and the likes, all posh, and they were involved in all this stuff. So how big really is this? Is this the glue that really holds this filth together? And I'm starting to think that it is. I'm starting to think that this is bigger than we ever knew. I knew I was speaking to a victim of SRA yesterday. She said, don't go telling everyone it's everywhere, because that's not the truth. And I get that. But the thing is, the more I look into this, the more and more I find. And the stories are all the same. You have the same elements to this. A guy sent me through some photos, and he was potholing. And I've told him he's got reported to the police. because they at least have got to be given the chance to do nothing, which is probably what they'll do. But then they can't bellyache that we've trampled all over the evidence when we do. But he was potholing, he heard a load of noise, and he looked down and there was a big slab leading to a pool. Again, a pool of water. Water is always used in rituals, and it's always to do with the killing of babies. And he said they were cutting something open. He thought it was a sheep, but the closer he looked, he thought it might have been a baby. He couldn't video it because the light from his phone would have given away his location. But he said afterwards they were chanting in robes, and then they threw the corpse into the lake. And he's gone back there, and there's blood splattered all up the rock face, and there was clearly something in the lake. You know, these are people that are doing. It's just incredulous, you know. And it's got me thinking about religion, because I said they are religion, and they are religion. But if they want to be a recognised religion, then do your rituals in public, and let's all see what you get up to. And of course they won't do that, will they? They won't do that because they are killing children. And this is what gives them their power, and out of their power comes their privilege. Please, 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 if you've not, and anyone who watches my stuff, you know, sound like a school teacher, there is no excuse to send me a message going, John, what's the RAINS list? RAINS. Look it up now before I collect your homework at the end of the day, because you need to look at the names on there. And the unit I was on that had governance for child prostitution, the detective chief inspector of that unit is on the RAINS list. He's on the RAINS list. Now I'm going to send a copy of the RAINS list to the Home Secretary and highlight this guy's name, because I think he needs to answer to this. He has been named as being an attendee at satanic ritual abuses where children are mutilated and killed. And all of a sudden, I'm shut up, and no cases investigated regarding children being pimped out. How bizarre is that? I mean, when you look at, the more you look at this, the more you realise that there is no coincidence. As someone said, the more and more coincidence, it's almost statistically impossible for it to be a lie. And we need to get a grip here. That's what I was meant to do. I was meant to write down the crime reference number. I'm going to put on some pictures of the crime reference number. RAINS list is on Chopping Logs. Please look up Facebook page Chopping Logs. Kiernan is doing a tremendous job there. Please look it up. Please look it up. Chopping Logs. Okay. Right. So I'm going to put down the crime reference number and who the letters to go to. So first one, they should go to who's got governance to investigate this. So the Chief Constable of Surrey Police, for one. Don't know who it is, but whoever that trouser leg roller upper is, you'll find it online. Just send them a request. Why is this not being investigated? There is a draft template which Christine and Rita have done, so there is a draft template for you. The Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police, Ms. Cressida Dick, she needs a letter. She needs a bit more than a letter, but I mean, for the time being, that's what she needs, is a letter. I would say your MP, the Policing and Crime Minister, the Cabinet Minister for Policing and Crime, don't know who that is, the Home Secretary, it wouldn't hurt sending them one, and also the Policing and Crime Commissioner for Surrey Police. They all need a copy of this letter, and I think we may be jubilant in getting this farm excavated. I am going to implore people, I will never ever endorse vigilantism, never, right? I will always work within the letter of the law, always. I want to remain at liberty, and I want to remain productive. Going down there with shovels and digging up someone's land is just going to get you in the shit. It will. It's pointless. And if you've got 30, 40 acres of land, where the hell are you going to start? I mean, it's unbelievable. Okay, so not in my name. I can't prevent people from doing things, but in my name, I will not be promoting criminality. I won't. I'm not going to do it. This site is heavily monitored by the police and probably the security services. They will monitor everything I say and do. If I enter into a conspiracy, I aid, I abet, I counsel or procure a criminal offence, it's me that gets in trouble. And then it prevents anything ever being done in the future. Okay, we need to do things the right way. We do them the wrong way, it will come and bite us. We are moving forward. And I want to say something now. There's a case of satanic abuse. It was investigated and then it was dropped. Due to the sterling work of everyone involved here, someone else has come forward who can corroborate this story. However, that person has no faith in the police and will not go to the police. So the complainant of the first allegation is in a sticky situation because firstly, they want the stories of satanic abuse and testimonies of victims and survivors to get out there. And secondly, they want the police to investigate it properly. Okay, now, the problem we got is that if I take a testimony of someone and it's not gone to the police, I will trash any evidence. And I'm going to explain this, and this is a way that is explained at detective training colleges throughout the Commonwealth. If you look at evidence, it is a blanket of pure snow, a field of pure snow. And if we're talking about child abuse matters, there is a little child stood in the middle of this field of pure snow. I need to go and get that child, so I will walk out and there will be footprints out to the child, and there will be a set of footprints coming back where I'm carrying that child back. So when it goes to court, I will be asked who has contaminated the evidence, i.e. the field of snow, with two sets of footprints. And I will say that is me. And I can explain myself. I needed to contaminate the crime scene to save life. And that will be accepted. That's why there are crime scene logs. So when you see these detective programs, you see the uniform constable writing, scribbling down names of people coming and going. You need to account for everyone who comes and goes in that scene. An example of where the crime scene gets frustrated and ends up making it almost impossible, I'll give you two. One of them was the Jill Dando murder, where the London Ambulance Service dispatched 23 ambulances to that crime scene. 23 crews of ambulances turned up and trampled all over that crime scene. Was that done on purpose? Who knows? Right, another disconnect. Sorry, I'm back again. Right. Am I back? Right, I am back. Sorry, that's really, really weird, that is. I've got like, I mean, like the part of London, the part of Europe that's most densely populated, and yeah, we are back on. It's really weird. It always does this when I sort of start talking about bits and pieces. I am in, like I said, one of the most densely populated parts of Europe, and yet there's no internet, and I've got good internet. Anyway, what I was saying about the Jill Dando thing, the London Ambulance Service dispatched 23 ambulance crews. They all turned up, trampled over the crime scene. They couldn't account for all these footprints, and it decimated the crime scene. If you take this case of the two Hampstead children, okay, it was absolutely piss poorly investigated by the police. In fact, they did sod all investigation. However, the chances of their testimony ever being used would have been negligible because someone interviewed them. I don't know who it was, a mother's boyfriend or something, and he used such leading and close questioning that they would totally destroy the credibility of that in a court, and that's what would have happened. And anyone, and it's not me being biased towards the police, I'm not, but anyone who's had been through the Crown Court on a child abuse case will stand testimony to how strict the parameters are around giving evidence. Alright, so if I then turn up and I take someone's testimony, unless it has been through the court, the police have done nothing, you can't bellyache if down the line the police then refuse to deal with it, because I have trampled my size 9s. Oh, and by the way, Martin, I've got my new sneakers on that you bought me. So I would have trampled my size 9s all over the crime scene. It's their rules, and that's that. So they're the parameters. But there's a documentary hopefully being made about the work that we're doing at the foundation. People have been in touch. There's not many people that want to go on camera. There's one or two, but we need people to come forward and go on camera. That's what we need. It is needed, but the testimonies have to be relevant to what we're doing. All right. Recently, they've been incredible testimonies. Absolutely phenomenal, and it's really moving forward. And the SRA stuff is just incredible. I'd like someone from the church to come forward and speak out about it, about why the church, a former priest or something, why the church isn't dealing with this, isn't addressing it. And what's really amazing is the lack of ex-police that are involved in vice, the lack of them detectives coming forward. Basically, I know that there's been a couple in Sean Atwood, one geezer who used to sell drugs or something, and one royalty protection, but they've really sort of upset me, the ex-police. I thought better of them. I really did. I really thought better of them. Just cowardly. Not all of them. I still know one or two good ones, but on the whole, most of the ones I work with have all run for the hills. So such a shame. So anyway, so that's that. So things are moving forward. The letter writing's going good. The petition should be in place shortly. All right, and there's the trolling is well, it always occurs when you talk about SRA, always, but that is on a minimum at the moment, so that's quite good. And like I say, everything that on my page is now, it is. I've been told officially that it's being monitored by the Metropolitan Police and probably by security. And also got a former MI6 intelligence officer who's going to give an interview next week. Hopefully we'll have Vicky Haig from the Court Said group giving a chat about the corruption within the family courts. And that's about it really. And we've got one lady who's in the north of England who's got testimony that's very similar to Jeanette's, but she's a bit fragile at the moment, so we're just waiting for her. And again, if she speaks out, then she won't really be able to use her testimony to the police, but we have found a way in which we can sort of do both within the parameters. And it's all about working within the parameters of the law and using your intelligence above your heart in this. I don't want anyone to get in. No, Matt isn't with me in this. No, in fact, Matt's on the unit that's monitoring me. So it's funny enough, it's my former detective sergeant is now on the unit that's monitoring me. So I'm scared. I want to say a big thank you to Paulie boy, former colleague, a former senior officer, and he's he is one of the very, very few good guys that I met. A brave man who spoke out. And did a lot of good in speaking out, Paulie. But he's agreed to do the song for us in the absence of the Manic Street Preachers. Paul's the one who did My Lovely Horse, as a brilliant guitar player, good singer. He's put together a cover version of the If We Tolerate This for us. So that hopefully will come out. We'll get that shared everywhere, and that'll be part of the documentary as well. So that'll be brilliant. So you know, hopefully all's well. There's a lot of people attending Hyde Park tomorrow and there's a lot of people in their late years attending because they've just had enough of this lockdown. Had enough. And bear in mind, they told us that it wouldn't live above 26 degrees. We have had 26 degrees and above for the past nigh on 3 months, which is totally unheard of. And still we're caged up. Well, I'm not. I don't believe in it. I really don't. And I'm not knocking anyone who's affected by it. I'm not. But I heard such a sad story the other day about Mr. Cheese. A lady who took her kids to the park, and they'd fenced off the park with all this stupid police tape, and she told her kids, just go under it and play, just go and play. And she said the kids come back crying. They said they didn't want to because they thought they were doing wrong. So it's now got into people's psyche now. It's got right into people's psyche, and it's just screwing us up. It is. Our pubs won't open. You know, people will be too frightened to stand next to each other. We're not visiting family and friends because of this, and it's just mental. It's just absolute madness. You know, it's just crazy. It's just got right under people's skin now, and I just see it as an evil. I really do. I think they are really screwing us down now, and it's taken all the focus off of the child abuse. It's totally and utterly almost like child abuse has been chucked in the bin. And let's stick with this while I'm on one here. Let's stick with what Jeanette was on about when the important people were there. You know, these may well have been people high up in government. They may well have been. Okay, it's not for me to say any other way, right? But saying they are, well, that would tie in with the findings of a lot of stuff involving people like Leon Britton and people like Ted Heath, right? You know, what they're doing is so bad. It is so wrong. And the police are not investigating. There is no special unit to deal with satanic abuse. There is a transgender crime unit, right? I mean, really? A transgender crime unit. Yet there is not an SRA investigation team. Nothing. And we are seeing the prevalence of this more and more. And it's just getting out of hand. This is just wrong. This really is wrong. So anyway, I may well be in Hyde Park tomorrow. I don't know. Yeah, we will be the special unit. Good on you, Dan. Dan has said we will be the special unit. Yeah. Let's be the SRAU. You know, yeah, I like it, Dan. We will be. Yeah, in fact, we are. As of now, you are office manager. You are the senior investigating officer, Dan Young. Right, okay. You can have the bottle of whiskey in your drawer. All right, and I'll happily work for you. So, anyway, so that's that. But there's more coming out. Hopefully, there'll be another interview next week. And hopefully the petition will be up and running, and let's get these letters off. Like I say, letters go to your MP, to the Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police. I will post their address later. The Chief Constable of Surrey Police, don't know who that is. The Minister, so this is a politician, the MP, the Minister for Policing and Crime. Hello, Sylvia. I don't know who that is at the moment. The Home Secretary, Priti Patel, can have one. Sadiq Khan can have one because he's the mayor, so he's in charge of the Met Police, and the Police and Crime Commissioners, which are different to the Chief Constables. He's independently appointed. Commissioners for the Sadiq Khan is it for London, but there'll be someone else. Police and Crime Commissioner for Surrey Police. We just need the reference number, okay, of this, and that's basically it. And just fling it in, and then they can go and find that. We need to absolutely inundate them with requests, and if they come back and they do nothing, then we start a complaints procedure. We go to the IOPCA, right? The Independent Office of Police Complaints or something. I don't know. Anyway, I used to be the IPCC, right? So we go to them, all right, and then we get a petition, and then we get something. Gary Stevens, cheers, Gary. Gary Stevens is the Chief Constable of Surrey Police. So Gary Stevens needs a big heap of letters slapping through his door, okay? And we have it all, mate. Right, yeah, so I think I've smashed the arse out of that one. Anyway, so that was just my update. The fact is that we are seeing... right, Joey Blair's watching. Now, Joe and your brother Bobby, I interviewed you two, and you went on about the abuse that you endured in this horrific sexual abuse in the Catholic Children's Home. And Joe, I've just been saying about the MPs that were involved, people of business that are involved, and then we got the church, and I went to the applied to go to a meeting with Vincent Nichols, and he boshed it down to this, and Cardinal Vincent Nichols, and he boshed it down to this Bishop Paul McAleen, and they had absolutely no interest in looking at what was going on. They actually saw themselves as the victims. So we got to look at the Anglican Church and the Catholic Church and their failings. We got to be starting to really sort of get under the skin of Lord George Carey, who allowed Bishop Bull to continue working unabated whilst he was under investigation for raping boys. And remember, Bishop Bull was mentioned in the disclosure of Darren. Bishop Bull was a convicted sex offender. He was best friends with Prince Charles and protected by Prince Charles. And as a result of his unfettered activities, his proclivity to sodomise young boys, one of the victims went on to kill himself. And how shocking is that? How shocking is that? There'll be something on suicide as well I've got to mention. I think next week I'll be talking to someone about suicide. Can't remember. My head is in a scramble. I apologise for people if I don't get back to you. I've really, since Darren, Jeanette, and then all the way to Yorkshire, my sleeping pattern's been a bit sort of all over the place. So, you know, and this is a spiritual attack. So it's just mind-blowing. Hopefully we should have a special for you on Sunday. I'm going to keep that under my hat for the time being, but should have a little special for you down on the south coast. Thank you to everyone who's helped financially. Thank you to the donations that have gone to Sean, Darren, and to Jeanette, and people that have come forward as a result of all of them testimonies. Thank you so much. And thank you for the assistance we're now getting from Louise Dickens. Geoffrey Dickens, probably the bravest MP since Guy Fawkes. Sorry, the bravest person in Parliament since Guy Fawkes, you know, when he's gone in there and he's a real alpha male and he's stood up against Satanism. And it cost him, like, and everyone else who stands up against it, dearly. So we've got to look, why is that the case? And if we tolerate this, then our children really will be next. They really will be. We are allowing this abuse to go on. Those that are involved in this abuse to remain unchecked, to keep feeding us the bullshit. You know, are there other people out there that are just about fed up of these chief constables failing to prosecute these child murderers properly? Is there anyone else who is fed up with the fact that satanic abuse is not investigated and those who speak about it are attacked? Is it just me? Or are there others that are just about had enough of it? What other country on the planet would allow this? How dare us ever to point our fingers at third world nations and say that they're backward, when we allow, you know, people in our cabinet and in the heart of democracy, You know, the envy of all democratic states around the world when we have people like Leon Britton and Ted Heath, child murdering paedophiles, and many, many others. That Cyril Smith, that names kept thrown out all the time, boom, boom, boom. And then the Home Affairs Select Committee, Keith Vaz, and then he was outed as like in Rent Boys, and still allowed. You know, it's just disgusting. What are we doing? What are we doing? It's just so wrong when we're allowing perversion to be taught to our children, and we do nothing. We find it funny. You know, pole dancing transgenders, teaching little primary school kids. It's just wrong. It is so wrong. I can't. Why? You know, it's out of order. We need to put an end to this. I'm not asking for anarchy. I'm asking that the right thing is done and that we protect our children. That's all we're asking, that our children are properly protected against paedophiles and child murderers. But unfortunately they're not. Therefore, those that are in charge now need to go. These chief constables have shown their incompetence. They need to be removed now. Your MP, if your MP does nothing, they need to go as well. If the police and crime minister is doing F all, they need to go. If the Home Secretary is doing nothing, she needs to go. So therefore, what we need to do is arm ourselves, firstly, by sending the RAINS list to Priti Patel, print it off and send it to her. Send the RAINS list to your MP and send it to your local chief constable. Send a copy of the RAINS list to Cressida Dick and say that there is a former officer that was in charge of the Vice unit is named on this list. Look it up, you'll see his name, and ask her, is this man going to be brought in and be questioned? You know, because what he's done is it's malfeasance in a public office, and it is. Right, and he's mentioned as attending satanic rituals. So, and then send all these things to them, and then we go for them and just say, right, it's time to go, because you clearly have done nothing. Clearly have done nothing. They've done sod all, absolutely sod all, and we can't allow it anymore. Cannot allow it anymore. So the viewing figures are quite down today, but it's Friday night. I don't know what's happened, but I may well be. Yeah, exactly. You know, bashing pots and pans, the NHS. I'm not knocking that, but why are we not bashing pots and pans for all our lost children, all the children that have gone missing? Why are we not bashing pots and pans against grooming gangs? Why are we not bashing it against perverted MPs? Why are we not doing that? Why? I don't know. No one seems to give a toss for the kids. But I've not been approached by any media companies. No one from a newspaper's been in touch with me. No one from radio stations has been in touch with me. So I did ask if anyone knew anyone to put them my way, but they don't seem bothered either. So, but what I'm saying is no emails to your MPs. It's got to be a letter. That's important. Emails do not need to be opened. It has to be a letter and recorded delivery if you can. Please, if you can't get out, then of course you've got to email. But on the whole, it should be a letter. Okay, recorded letters have to be responded with a letter. So it has to be like for like. Emails do not need to be opened. There is no duty to open an email, none at all. Okay, so they can legitimately not open your email. I can't remember what the legislation is, but they do not have to be read. All right, is that a double negative? Do not have to be read. Right. Anyway, but so letters, please. And if you're you don't have to do much because Christine's already done it for you. So you know, pop a stamp on it. Recorded delivery if possible. The addresses are easy to find, and send it off. So anyway, tomorrow I may be in central London, but the sun's going down over. Well, the sun's really high. The sun's not going down at all. So I'm meeting with a mainstream journalist now, and having a chat with him. They're also there are some good journalists out there. There are still some good journalists out there, and I'm meeting one in about 10 minutes. Okie dokie. All right then. So God bless everyone. Good night, and get them letters. Let's get them letters. We are the change. Like Dan's unit, the SRA unit. You know, that's us. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. Okay. Good night, everyone. Bye bye.